Then take a freestyle for a second. Take a freestyle. Yo, welcome back to another episode of Dope Dynamics. It's your boy Steve, real name, no gimmicks. Here with you is Star, the Pink Princess, taking the night off to serve the man, serve the evil conglomerate that she works for. Unbelievable that she would choose her monetary gain over this free internship we have here at the Hold Up TV called Dope Dynamics. Since he's not going for it.
Nah. They got enough money, man. Let them workers go. Give my people free. Oh, man.
Give us free. What's going on, my brother? How you doing, man?
Oh man, I am doing all right. On a returning, I guess, from a hiatus. I was so exhausted this last week, and I didn't fuck around and slept the whole thing away Friday and Sunday. Missed both my shows. It was all bad, but I my body was speaking to me. So
no, you got to do it, man. The vacations often lead to a much needed rest. You out there partying with the Miami folk, living it up with the other side. It caught up to you. You still look tired, man. You still look tired. So we got It always seems like it's just me and you these nights, man. We got a humdinger of a show tonight. A lot of stuff going on. Mantis, what's going on, my brother? Going on out in these webs. Alex Jones gets hit with nearly $1 billion tab. Man, what's going on?
Ooh-wee. So yeah, we got Alex Jones, who had a suit filed against him from 8 of the families from the Sandy Hook school shooting in 2012. I know we've all heard the story, so I don't need to get too far into that. But apparently today they came down, and without even awarding the attorney's portion of any of this money, they have put him on the bill for $965 million to be exact, to 8 families. So that, on top of, I believe he was ordered to pay 130 to like one other family that was in Texas already. He's over $1 billion. And this is all because of him spreading some rumors about Sandy Hook being basically faked.
Right. A position that I've heard other people take or allude to, they're like, I don't know, it seems like actors, and I'm just like, I don't know where you're getting this from, man, but let me get your thoughts on it first, man. What do you think about the
So this is my first reaction. Yes, I think it's a little bit ludicrous to go out there and say it's faked without too much actual, facts to back that up. As far as I know, it's just all conspiracy. The bigger take from this, for me, is that if you are a US based, media person, social media influencer, whatever you are,
right,
you really have to watch what you're saying right now.
yes,
Because let's be honest, he didn't have anything to do with that school shooting.
right.
All he did was propose a conspiracy about it. And this is what he's getting sued for spreading that through his outlet, which the name of it just slipped my mind.
Well, I think it's one of the reasons that led to him getting kicked off of social media proper. It got him kicked off of Facebook, YouTube. Obviously, he wasn't on Twitch. What is the name of Mantis? What's the name of Alex Jones? We know that you know Mantis. What's the name of Alex Jones' website? You gonna make me Google this shit? It's gonna be in my algorithm. Anyway, I'm not Googling.
I know that the name of his parent company is Free Speech Systems, but it's a particular website that is what was being attacked in this suit. And I guess, and that's not the only thing that they say on there, but it's just like that's major because this is a man that's not, and his company isn't even worth $1 billion. So they just, like, whatever.
Infowars, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he's not worth $1 billion, man. He's right in the same situation with Tasha K and Cardi B. He's like, I ain't got it. You don't have to chase me down. He should definitely be on the first spaceship to Mars with Elon, because I don't know how he's going to foot this bill. I don't even think you can do installment plans on that, right? They're just going to seize all his assets and all that shit.
That's what I assume. I believe in most cases like this, you do have like a time limit to pay it.
Right.
Obviously not in installments typically, but like they'll give him time to come up with the money. Because I know they will. Because matter of fact, the lady that Cardi B was having issues with had about 4 or 5 years before she had to pay.
Right. Tasha K, yeah, and she's doing everything but paying. Yeah. She skipped town. She's in Africa somewhere. It's crazy, man. But you're right, man. We're in a time where you definitely have to be extremely diligent in what you are putting out on the internet and what you are representing or attacking or speaking out against. Now, I've always thought this was an insane position to hold, right? The whole thing that they were actors, that it was staged, that it was some deep conspiracy to remove the guns from people's hands. Because I know the American government is capable of many a thing, but to orchestrate something where those deaths would be falsified would be a hell of an undertaking. And two, if they weren't, just think about what you're actually saying as people are crying about children that they've lost, man. I have a buddy who I won't say his name, but I don't know if he still holds this position, but he was also one of those people that just thought the whole thing was made up. Like an elaborate ruse. And I'm like, how do you pull something like that off, man? Like, it was the same thing with the church that got shot up, predominantly white congregation, some InfoWar type people that used to stalk the church and confront the pastor, who was a father, the pastor of the church, and the father, one of the people slain there. And they're like, you're making this up. We can tell you're acting. This is all. And I'm like, man, this shit is really, really crazy. And I think about, where terms like misinformation came from and fake news. It's amazing to me that this doesn't fall into that. But I think this kind of led us into that place, obviously mixing that in with the Trump campaign, right? Popularizing no information can be trusted. But yeah, this is absolutely insane, man. Absolutely insane.
I just, I don't know why you would... What would drive you to say this? This is my thing about conspiracy theorists. There are some people who will find some facts, stuff that wasn't supposed to get out, but someone dug around and found out, that will get classified as conspiracy.
Right.
There's plenty of examples of that. But there are certain conspiracy theorists that everything is a conspiracy.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
It's like you just have to take the opposite side. And though, like, that to me doesn't make any sense, because like you said, at what point were you watching TV, watching these families crying?
Right.
Did it pop in your head like, you know what? They probably faked that.
Yeah. Like, and I'm laughing nervously, like, because someone co-signed it too, right? They were like, yeah, man, makes sense. Go ahead and say it. Like, say it out loud.
Listen, we can talk. I mean, we're talking money now, but we could talk money. When the government wants some policy passed,
right,
they look for the biggest bidder. They don't set up junk like this.
Right.
Because that doesn't make sense. If they wanted to get rid of assault rifles, they could do that 10 times over without this. They don't want to begin with. So they're not going. I mean, I just
things that, like, I think that the government won't even touch, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one's trying to end up in the French Revolution, because they understand, because of history, there is a certain button you can push where people are like, okay, that's it. We're coming to your houses and we're forcibly removing you. I mean, hell, look at January 6th. I know that quote unquote it was just a bunch of grannies that ran through the the Capitol building, but that's not what happened. You know what I'm saying? The footage shows police officers getting slammed in the door, and I think there is a fine line that people will tolerate. And I'm thinking on the other side of that line, or just before it, is the slaughter of children or the misrepresenting. But the fact of the matter is, there are so many people who've come out to defend, not recently, but in the past, defend Alex Jones' right to have said what he said, or to allude to allegedly the things that he said. And that's the part that catches me off guard, which is like, well, what's your vested interest? Like, I understand free speech being extremely important, but are you trying to tell me that he didn't say these things? Like, the man's on record saying it multiple times. So what are you defending exactly? And that's where the free speech conversation always gets really weird to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah.
like, what are you defending? What are you standing on right now?
Yeah, and he knows he's got a platform, and with that platform, you have to take responsibility for what you said. You know what I'm saying? So either you stick to it or you don't. I mean, I'm here for him being able to say whatever he wants to say. But, just like we've had these conversations sometimes when, the white guy gets a little crazy and wants to drop an M-bomb, but you're going to be held accountable
Oh yeah,
for saying it. So you can say whatever the hell you want to say.
yeah.
But if it affects somebody negatively, there's going to be consequences for saying that. That's what we see here.
Yeah.
But what blew my mind is they asked for 500 million. They almost got double that. Like, if this isn't a statement of shut the hell up if you got something stupid to say, I don't know what it is.
It's like, if you ain't got nothing nice to say. I'm trying to look up this man's net worth right now. Let's see. Oddly enough, it's not listed on Google. Not one of the things I can find readily on Google. Yeah, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, if you don't have anything legible to say, don't say it. That's why I'm so careful when I'm sipping Grandpa's happy sauce, that I always check the social cues when I'm up here with you and Bex. And I'm like, I might be treading dangerously close to the line of, like, someone clipping this and making an ass of me. But we live in that time now, man. I mean, hell, one of our stories tonight is Nuri Martinez, right? Did you listen to the audio tape?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some wild folks. What happened to all the liberals in California?
And this, if you're not up on this, man, Alex Jones, we're gonna get out your ass for a second. We gotta talk about Sister Nuri Martinez, who lives in the area I lived in California for a little while, Sun Valley. I think I might not met her, but I think I might have worked an event that she was at one time, doing some community outreach or something she hosted. Man, I don't know what's going on in the liberals, but if you're not up to speed, folks, well, Nuri Martinez is a local representative in the Los Angeles area. She's a woman of Hispanic heritage, Mexican, and she has recently gotten to all the trouble, right? Her and two other elected officials, also of Hispanic heritage, for saying the quiet things out loud. So we've all sat around. I've always wondered, maybe I don't know about you, Cynthia, but I've always wondered what it's like in the room when policy is being made. What type of conversations are these people having, right? These very polite, smiley political figures. And I'm going to see if I can get this, because, let me just share it, because no matter how I do it, it's not going to give it the right flavor. Welcome in, K Valorant. Oh man, here we go. I hope this is the audio and the audio only.
You supported him from the all the folks like with Ascon. He did call me. He wants to have breakfast with me.
What's taking him so long?
So context, positions, they are all local leaders. We'll get into some of the news commentary, but they're all local leaders in California. These are people that are able to impact policy. They are able to impact things like zoning. One of them is the head of the labor trade, I believe. And they're sitting around and they're talking about maneuvering and increasing, the wealth within their own community. And then everything goes terribly awry.
I just said, hey, we need to talk.
You supported him from the.
All right, don't worry, I got you. So you'll start seeing them line up. Isaac was the first.
whatever the kids.
All right, so you heard that part right there. They're talking about another elected official, and Nuri says, "Fuck that guy. He's with the blacks." But it gets worse. It gets worse.
I'm like, it's like the oddest thing. It's like black and brown on this float, and then there's white.
All right, so now they're talking about another gentleman who is a member of the LGBT community. He is a white man. He and his partner have an adopted child, which is a black kid. I should also preface this that these tapes were recorded a year ago, and these three people are having the conversation. Here's the interesting thing. No one knows who recorded it because she stepped down today. First, she stepped down as the president of like the city alderman or whatever the position was she had. And but yeah, it just gets worse. So no one knows who recorded it, but he has a black son. She's describing a situation where they were all on a parade together on a float for MLK Day, and here we go.
Guy with the little black kid who's misbehaved. Este niño has no. They're not giving us. Yeah, no.
So if you don't.
The kid is bomb. They're not giving us.
If you didn't catch that, she used the racial slur to describe the child in Spanish as a monkey.
Yeah, no, they're not doing. The kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the float, practically tipping it over. There's nothing you can do to control him. Parece changuito. And I'm just like, oh my God. They're raising him like a little white kid, which I was like, this kid needs a beat down. Like, let me take him around the corner and then I'll bring him back.
Yeah.
¿Sí me entiendes? Ven para
It's a
acá.
pinch.
Yeah. So anyways, getting back to redistricting.
Yeah, let's go Cape Town.
Yes.
I see a lot of little short.
Okay, and don't think that the racism is exclusive to black people. So again, these are all fair-skinned Hispanic people. They're about to start talking about their own. The Mohicans, I believe it's pronounced. They are indigenous people in Mexican. They are a darker complected people, indigenous, right? And they're talking about this population in Koreatown of this group.
Yes.
I see a lot of little short, dark people.
Yeah, puro Oaxacan. Puro Oaxacan
Oaxacans.
Koreans. Not even like Kevin, little ones.
I was like, no, I don't know where these people are from. I was like, I don't know what village they came, how they got here, but
And then they're wearing shoes.
So
down feels.
I get what we have to do, right? Just massage to create districts that benefit you all,
Yep.
right, and the future.
Yep.
But we got to figure out Mark's seat too.
Mhm.
You know,
And I'm
that
gonna take
benefits you
different.
three.
Is if the African Americans look at this, now that he might or may not be suspended, I don't know what's gonna happen. I think that he should be, but anyhow, if he goes away,
You mean resign, not suspended?
No, here's
So I'll link the full audio, but that she resigned today. Nuri, Nuri resigned, and the fellow in the middle here, Gil, he also resigned. She stepped down. Censor your thoughts, man.
These are the leaders of our fucking free country, apparently. You know, we have no hope. There's no hope.
Right.
Oh man, I thought we could be saved, but if this is what goes down in California, what's this, Los Angeles?
Yeah, so LA County, technically
Okay.
she's from Sun Valley, but still LA County. Listen, LA is riddled with racism on all sides, but we're not talking about all sides. So I'm not going to do that thing where it's like, well, you know, black people say crazy shit. Well, I ain't got no black people say no crazy shit on audio tonight. I got these people saying some crazy shit. And if you go listen to the actual full audio clip, it's not that they're just talking obviously about that young child and the Oaxacan people, which is extremely, but you can't deny it. For people to say racism doesn't exist, like there it is, boom, it's right in your face. But they go on to talk about policies as well, and also policies that would impact black people in their voting district and rezoning certain resources to, you know, better serve in line their pockets. I believe at one point they were talking about rezoning or putting the pressure on for a rezone for an airport to kind of, line someone else up. And it's so much stuff, and it's so representative of our politics in America that none of this stuff surprises me when it comes out. I think what was really sad about this is, and I think that a lot of Hispanics, people from the Hispanic from the brown community are upset about is not only the Oaxacan comments, but in LA particular, how hard these two groups, black and browns, have worked to try to find a level of camaraderie and civility, like actual coalitions to push back against it. And actually, on the Hill today, I know one of your favorite news outlets, other than Dope Dynamics, they talked to a local podcaster and political pundit out there, and he says this really is really damning because it lends credence to some of the right-wing talking points that you might hear about, Hispanics being the dominant party now, being the dominant people group in Los Angeles, that they're only going to be out for self. And he said this really pushes back against what we've been trying to work towards, and it's messed up all around, man. It's messed up all around. Harold Bailey says, why ain't there same public outcry energy for when these black and brown liberals say white people are dangerous and white people are a threat to society? Which white people did they say were dangerous and were a threat? Were they talking about like radicalized, like militias or something like that, or the guy that gives me my Starbucks? Yeah, you got to be more specific. You're more specific there. All politicians are satanic liars, and Kay says yes. Go ahead, Sensei. I'm sorry.
Just to touch on, what he just said, and mind you, this isn't a politician that said that, but they are literally fucking roasting the hell out of Kanye West for making that kind of statement. So it's not like it doesn't happen. That's seeing something with blinders on, in my opinion. So, because this is all, but this is the world we go in. Like, it doesn't matter if those people were white, black, or brown, yellow. Those were disparaging remarks for anybody to make, and the fact that they got out, God bless us that someone is going to replace them. But doesn't it kind of leave you with a bad taste in your mouth to the point where, who's next, and what's the next person gonna freaking say? Yeah, it's like if that tape would have never got it out, no one would know. Those are the people that are making the policies or influencing the policies in your neighborhoods.
Right. And bro, and if you ever make your way out to California, man, if you would just see, well, hell, just look at what happened with your boy from American Cholo when he was going back and forth with Tariq Nasheed and then the whole no jumper thing. Like, he went down to the no jumper studio with half of North Hollywood and friggin' the Valley Sereno crew over there, and that's how tense this shit is. And I used to think it was just prison politics that spilled over into the streets, and that's where the tension is. But what this woman was describing, they felt so comfortable sitting around saying it, man. And I just want to know who the hero was that recorded it. What intern that was abused and mistreated pumped this? Like, how did they get the audio, man?
Here's what you got. This is a pro tip right here. Pro tip for anybody that does dirt like this. Make sure your security guy is well paid. So when TMZ comes asking to buy CCTV footage, he's not willing to risk his fucking job. Because them shits record everything, not just the video. They record the audio too. And I swear that's how 90% of these tapes get out.
Yes, that's why I just say my reckless shit on the internet. When I run for public office, like, yeah, I said it. But I never say nothing crazy like this. Kay says, do you think this was leaked because of elections coming up and the need for campaign money? Not only do I think that has something to do with it, but I don't know if it's the sum total. And also, as I was doing digging on this, there's things going on in the union trade out there in California. One of the gentlemen who was speaking on it, he had just gotten ousted prior to this. He lost his re-election bid. So I'm not saying that this was some altruistic person who was like, I'm a whistleblower and I got to get this information out. Maybe it was, I don't know. But all I know is that this lends itself to another narrative, which I was explaining to my wife. Counterproductive to the narrative which the liberal party pushes, that we are the party of tolerance, we are the party of non-racism. And here you have not white liberals but brown liberals sitting around saying some wild shit. There's no other way for me to say it. Saying some wild shit. And now what you've done is you've given the right the ability to say, hey, this is an issue that black people, and this is the real political maneuvering you should be aware of. The right solely wants to land one side of these camps. I would think they would push harder for the brown community since they outnumber blacks like 2-1, but they solely want to keep another people group with them, as they should. That's a part of the game. And this just lends to it. This gives credence to, why are you voting liberal? You know, why do you vote Democratic? You know, but this woman resigned. I'm trying to see if I can just find the portion with her speaking. First, she only resigned from her presidency. She was the president of that city alderman or group, and she was like, I feel horrible, but not horrible enough to step down. And then she finally stepped down today. She tried to do the whole, I'm going to take a leave of absence, get right with God type of stuff. They're roasting Kanye West for talking about Jews, not white people. Don't get it twisted. Are Jewish people not white people?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's in my book, those are the same kind of people.
Some of them are white. I don't know. Maybe the Middle Eastern ones are definitely not white. But I know that the Quran says that Muhammad was white, so I don't know. We land on all this stuff. Sorry, since.
Oh Lord have mercy.
I'm shy. Take me down. No, you stay up. You stay up and you live by your words. Let me see if I can see. Let's just see what some of the community is saying here. I'm going to share and I want to get Cincy's thoughts on some of the stuff that's going on in LA, the great state of California. Give me a sec, folks. Let me get a share going here. All right, here we go.
Epicenter of outrage is a good way to put it, Christine and Alex. The protesters, the activists, essentially refused to let the city council members conduct their meeting. This is what it was like to be in there.
No meeting without resignation.
The protesters' voices remain loud and strong as the LA City Council repeatedly tried to bring the meeting to order. No resignations, no meeting, they chanted over and over again.
Hopefully we can have the meeting and conduct the people's business.
It didn't happen. Kevin De Leon, Gil Cedillo, and so far, Nury Martinez had not yet resigned. And when one council member who was there left, there was no longer a quorum.
This meeting is adjourned.
Acting Council President Mitch O'Farrell canceled the meeting.
The wound is too deep, the pain.
Do you think it's just a matter of time before they do resign?
It must be a matter of time because the calls from the President of the United States and, my goodness, I don't know who's next. The pressure is really on.
The pressure apparently became too much by mid-afternoon. That's when Nury Martinez put out a long statement reading in part, "It is with a broken heart that I resign my seat for Council District 6, the community I grew up in and my home. While I take the time to look inwards and reflect, I ask that you give me space and privacy." After that news broke, Councilmember O'Farrell called it a first step in healing.
And every council member here is an accomplice of the betrayal of the
Activists at City Hall, who viewed resignations as inevitable, now demand change.
We're not just simply saying we want to replace some bad council members with other bad council members. We're demanding a fundamental shift. We're demanding a repairing of the harm. This is not just about hurt. It's also about harm.
We look at how do we include and expand representation here, and how do we make sure that a handful of people don't try to do this again.
Question now.
Yeah. There it is, folks. So there it is. There it is. Harold Bailey says you're free to talk about white people. Are we free? All right, let's talk about white people.
Let's talk about white people. Here's because we're free to talk about white people. Let me point out a difference here. Okay. Because some of the things that they say are derogatory in nature. Some of the things that Kanye West speaking about Jews who apparently aren't white were derogatory in nature. But let me go back to his original statement. White people are dangerous. White people are a threat to society. Okay, I feel you. That could be derogatory, but it's going to be a lot different. I'm not going to be allowed to be recorded on air as a politician saying these goddamn crackers are fucking dangerous. There's a huge difference between those two statements.
Yeah, no. Actually, Dreamers broadcast, welcome in. Why can't I talk about Jews? Well, don't do it here. Well, here's the difference. All right, because I know where Harold Bailey is coming from. Let me assume the point here for a second. What Harold Bailey is trying to articulate is the fact that it seems that it is publicly still acceptable to bash white people as a whole. But what Cincy is saying here is, well, let's talk about that. Cincy, Charlemagne does make the mayonnaise jokes freely on the Breakfast Club. You know, so I guess I see where Harold Bailey's coming. Harold Bailey, are you saying that there should be a way for white people to be protected from the prejudice that they face from the black and brown men? Is that what you're saying? And Kay says, how can we sing about anything under freedom of speech? LOL. Everything on the table. Good point. Good point. I mean, on one side of we got a heavy hitter in here. What the? Bex? What are you doing here? I mean, you're welcome here, of course.
I thought this was a safe space.
Safe space.
Do I need to leave?
No, Bex, you do not need to leave. How are you? Bex, why are people allowed to say horrible things about white people in public without any real public outlash or backlash or repercussions, do you think?
You mean why are black people allowed to say things about white people in public?
People, human beings.
Because because who gonna check us?
Here we go. Well, okay, see why I always put me in this position. Now what's the line though, Bex, right? Because what is the line? Like, everyone's okay with Dave Chappelle making slave jokes. Everyone's okay with Dave Chappelle making jokes at the expense of white people. I don't know if Harold Bailey is still here, but do you think in the name of comedy are you allowed to make fun of white people?
Yeah.
All right. Just like you should be able to make fun of the LGBTQ community, any community in the name of comedy, right? It's all fair for comedy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, does that mean you should be able to make derogatory statements or claims about all white people while lumping them into, a minority of racist white people? Like, shouldn't we differentiate between those people?
Well, yeah, we should. We shouldn't be rude about it. But I mean, like I said, who gonna check us?
Well, Bex, okay, so this is where the pendulum swings, right? I've been trying to rack my mind. You weren't here for Nuri Martinez and the other two people of Hispanic descent who just got ousted. Oh, well, two of them are ousted now, had to resign because of the statements they made about one of their colleagues, black child, being a little monkey and being misbehaved, and then talking about the Oaxacan indigenous people of Mexico being little brown people. How do you think the world would have responded if it was three black politicians sitting around saying, the S, well, they didn't say the S word, but, saying those type of things about Latino people? Do you think there would be a public outcry?
Of course.
See, I think so too. But the question becomes, would there have been a public outcry if they were talking about a little white child misbehaving?
Can I jump back in?
Yeah,
you can jump back in real quick.
No, man, I was just trying to.
Okay, so when they say something about a black person, black people jump up. If they were gonna say something about brown people jump up. Why the hell are we defending white people not jumping up for themselves? That's what I want to know. You know why white people don't jump up for themselves? Because they know they had that shit coming. They still feel guilty just enough to know they had that shit coming. And as long as they're in power, they're gonna let us talk our fucking shit because they got the fucking dope. That's what it is. Fuck them.
Oh. Did Harold Bailey hit a nerve? Okay, Bexy, your thoughts? Bex, you always bring the The heat. That's what I love about you.
I wasn't even supposed to be here, but I tried to take a nap, but the FOMO is real.
Fear of missing out on these dope dynamics. Listen, we haven't done this in a while, but I'll do it just in case anyone wants to say anything with their chest. They're more than welcome to come up and when I say it with your chest, that is an African American colloquialism, which does not necessarily mean I want you to try to utter words out of your chest. I'm not looking for any beef, but if you feel like you want to contribute to the conversation, you're more than welcome to. This is an interesting thing, man. My vested interest in this is I'm someone that's always speaking up for Black and brown relations and coalitions and stuff like that. Obviously, this hits home. My wife is a Hispanic woman. I want to see the relationship between Black and brown people be strong, only because I don't want us to be pitted against each other. Now, if we're going to have our own beefs, let us have our own beefs based off of that beef, but I don't want us to be politically maneuvered to work against each other. And everyone should vote their own interests and they should look out for their own community. But when you get caught trying to begin your cabal in the infantile stage of building your evil empire, well, that's just good for the goose. But now maybe this will also teach politicians there is no private place to have these private conversations, right? I thought maybe it was an anonymous. And I don't mean like an anonymous person. I mean, they all had cell phones. I'm sure they don't have triple encrypted phones, right? They probably got BlackBerries that they got from Verizon years ago because old people like Verizon and they like BlackBerries. I'm thinking they had a hot phone. Someone hacked into it. And maybe this will bring a level of accountability to these people where they have to understand everything can be made public. No? Since he's just looking at the comments waiting for Harold Bailey to say.
Y'all don't know me like that.
Dreamers Broadcast says we are pinned against each other because the psychology that was placed upon our communities came from an outside force. That's a whole fact. Even though there's internal racism, let's not pretend like Black and brown people, we don't sit around saying horrible things about, we got to work all that shit out. It's time. Listen, I'm gonna keep it huh?
About who?
About each other. Black people say horrible things about each other, and we say horrible things about other people. And it's time that we let that stuff go. We got to strengthen the bonds because your phone could be live. So I'm making a vow from this point forward, I will never say anything negative about anyone ever again because I don't know who's listening.
It's the lies for me.
What lies?
Why are we lying?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Who's lying?
You.
No, that's it. I'm no. I see the problem, folks. It's not that I just say negative stuff about you behind your back. It's I start drinking and I'm going to call you and say it to you. I'm like, I was sitting with Cincy and Bex. You suck. Let me finish, Cincy. Let me finish. But I mean, back to the more serious points. We have to do better with our politicians. Now, someone else brought up something. I'm going to lay it out on the table. They said that we should expect more from our representation, and you don't get a pass because you say like, hey, I had a heated exchange with this member, or I have really deep-rooted disagreements with them, and that's why I said these things. It's like you took the job as a public ambassador. It's a higher calling. You need to step up to the plate. And this guy even acknowledged, I want to bring it up, and I'll do that because he said it way better than I could say it. It's a higher calling. You took this calling to represent and be better. What are your thoughts? Should we expect more from our politicians?
Yeah,
absolutely. She said, she's from there, right?
Right.
She said she got booted out of the own seat from the town that she's from. You were talking about your literal own people that you're supposed to be representing.
Right. And go ahead.
You agree that we should expect more from our representatives, but you were okay with the twerking senator?
No, don't ever try to misquote history. I was never okay with the twerking senator.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Cincy.
Whoa, the fact that you're trying to compare racism and fucking twerking is fucking audacious.
But A representative is a
no,
representative.
no. It's absolutely sick in the fucking head that you would compare twerking to racism. That doesn't even make sense.
But
On
a representative is a representative. These are people that are representing us. These are people. These are people that are being put towards the front. So you're okay with that?
Yeah,
but...
she can fucking twerk as long as she's not out here talking about her fucking brothers.
Okay.
There's a huge fundamental difference between those two things. Those aren't even on the same plane of fucked up.
One of which is Cincy is king of ratchet behavior, and he's like, twerking is a fucking resource. And he's like, we need to protect
a God-given right to twerk.
Okay.
Let me see here. This Dreamer's broadcast says this man is lying. I see it in his eyebrows. Joke's on you, Dreamer. I don't have eyebrows. You would never be able to tell anything like that. I got alopecia of the eyebrows. Me and Bex have been trying to come up with a way to bring back my eyebrows, but they're gone. They're never coming back. So you must be talking about Cincy. Let's now. All right. Let me just bring up some more stuff. Oh wait, Mantis has some shit. Now this is dope dynamic. Our representatives will eventually be corrupted by capitalism. Dreamers, who are you really?
She's on one tonight.
Wait, who is Dreamers? Do I know Dreamers?
The hell? That's facts. I mean, we can't prove it wrong either, because I mean, look at our own
Dreamers. Do you go by another name that starts with a D and ends with a key? Pinky. No, all right, Dreamers. I'll figure it out. Oh, look, it's just some more commentary for some more context since we're having a good time here. Since his other favorite political show, Rising, now that I know he likes The Hill.
Ethnic politics in the United States democracy has always been like this. Zero-sum game, bare knuckle fisting, all that stuff, just punching each other. But here's the difference. With Latinos, we are now the majority in the city of Los Angeles. We are now the majority in Los Angeles County. We're the plurality in the state of California. For decades, people have been whispering, people on the right saying that all this demographic reality, that's a reconquista, that is Latinos taking over California, basically becoming a part of Mexico, and that we were only going to care about ourselves. And of course, that's not true. But when you hear comments like this, it like throws away everything that people have been doing to push against that narrative, against that conspiracy. And and when you hear racist lingo like that, yes, it is part of the Latino culture. I'm not going to pretend it's not, but these are supposed to be the best and brightest among us. You would hope that at that point, they drop all of that. You could have those conversations. I think it's a valid conversation. How do you make Latino political power, especially a city where it's still underwhelming, how do you make it stronger? Demeaning Black children, using this racist language, that's not the way to do it.
There's also,
I mean, this man is spitting bars right now, right? He's spitting bars, and this is the type of level, this is the level of awareness that I need to come to this type of conversation, where people aren't trying to explain something away and saying, hey, this is part of our heritage, there's been a long-standing beef. What I'm seeing from a lot of the brown community in regards to this topic is, this is horrible. We don't want you representing us. And this is not coming from, and this is something you need to be aware of in LA. For a great majority of Hispanics and African Americans who are not gang affiliated, I would dare say all of them, they don't want to be a part of this type of shit. They don't want to deal with prison politics. They don't want to deal with gang politics. They want to live in an LA where their children don't get dragged into any type of smoke like this, right? They're trying to build and mend fences, and I do kind of feel like it sets that movement back a little bit. But, again, I'm just an old motherfucker that sits in his basement making podcasts with his friends. The question is, you two young people full of hatred and anger and twerk loving, do you think that the community of LA is going to be able to move forward from this?
What can we define moving forward?
So I'm glad you said that. So a lot of people think moving forward is like, we were outraged this week and next week we're okay. Moving forward, I mean being able to look at these things and ask ourselves, what is a real coalition? What is a real alliance? And moving past old grievances. And when I say move past, I mean setting them completely aside or accepting that they exist on both sides of the table and saying this is not beneficial for either group. Because at the lowest denominator, if we continue on this path, we will always be pitted against each other, right? And that will always lead to more crime. It will always lead to more grievances. And, I just think it feeds the machine. For me, moving past it is understanding that we don't have to culturally agree on everything, but we have to agree not to harm each other willingly, right? Make sense? No? I have a dream? Make more sense?
Yeah, man. I it's hard for me to want to say, I want to say yes, they'll move on, it'll get better. How long ago was the fucking first race riot in California? How much progress have they made in those 50 years?
I don't know, man. It's hard, bro. It's hard. Shout out to all my peoples in LA, but y'all know what time it is. Y'all got a lot of complicated shit going on out there. I just don't feel like this is something we deal with as much on the East Coast or in the Midwest, but LA is rough.
Can we think about that a little deeper? Because if you think about, the two boiling pot cities in the US, complete opposite sides, you got Los Angeles and you've got New York.
Right.
Why and maybe I'm, have been blind to this fact, why does this kind of thing not seem to come out of there as much, even though they have just as much as the same mixing of ethnicities as Los Angeles does?
Sensei, I've been trying to figure it out for a little bit, man, and I'm going to tell you honestly, at the height of the bullshit in New York where we had the Latin Kings, La Familia, fucking the Bloods, the Crips, Zulu Nation, the Nietas, on some gang shit. It got racially tense out here, but it was only on some gang shit. Now, 70s, everything I've ever been exposed to where blacks and browns have ever had, or blacks and Latinos have had issue in New York, has always somehow led back to some type of criminal activity or drug shit. But there's something different when it hits the political realm, where it's these are legal representatives doing harm to each other. I don't know why it's so prevalent in LA. I guess it has to do with the history of California. The state itself is mirrored in blood. If you think about how it was ripped away from the hands of the people who originally occupied it, it does not surprise me. We're all energy crystal people here on Dope Dynamics. We understand that the ghost of energy lingers and all that stuff, right? I just think New York is way more civilized than the rest of the country, and we understand it's about money, and not there's only one color to really respect. All these other neighboring states, you guys are, you're 3 steps behind us, but you're catching up now is the important thing. Right, Bex?
LA always strikes me as a place that pretends to be more civilized than what it really is.
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
At the end of the day, the thing that really troubles me about this, though, is there was one portion of the audio tape that was not in the portion I played here, and they compared the small child to that that character. This is probably my most hated character. The little guy that you might see, and I've seen one in Florida, little black fellow dressed in a jockey outfit, standing in front of someone's house, and they compared the child to that, and they called him an accessory for his white parents, his dad and his dad. And when this type of stuff gets leaked in the public, if you're not giving real consideration about the party that you're aligned to, and if you don't think these conversations are happening in every part of the Democratic Party, then I just think you're naive, right? Politicians are nothing but people, and they're people who have the same prejudices and the same bias as the rest of us. And I think we just got to see that, even though it wasn't black people, we got to see that people of color can, in fact, have power and be racist and try to implement that racism into power. And it's sad. It's it's sad. It's like what you see after the liberation of certain African states. They pushed the Afrikaans out only to commit genocide on their own people. And it's like, so you came into power to do the exact same thing. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy. But it's not some chick twerking on the beach with flapjacks crazy. It's the true atrocity. 2 flat cheeks hanging like leftover Thanksgiving ham. Sensi, your thoughts? Racism versus bad twerking. What is the real evil America's facing?
Oh, Jesus. Well, you know, if you ask a certain group of people, racism doesn't exist, and twerking is just another reason why women are the devil. So, you know,
that's
you pick your side that you want to align with.
That's true. Shout out to my boy Sneeko, kicked off of YouTube. Red Pill hurting right now. Red Pill is hurting. Folks, been another episode of Dope Dynamics. 52 minutes in. Your hosts are tired. We work normal jobs on a day-to-day basis. And I know Mantis doesn't believe it's a real stream unless it's 2 hours, but we are getting the hell out of here at 11:03. So since you can get some rest, so Bex can get some rest, and most importantly, so I can get some rest. Any last minute shout outs? Anyone doing a show this week? Are we taking a week off at the Hold Up TV? Just let me know in advance so I can go to bed.
Yeah, I have to work on Thursday. Well, no, I'm lying. I'm off on Thursday, but I have to get up early to go to work on Friday. So.
Wow.
I mean, wow. I've been working. Just unbelievable.
Just 4 weeks straight.
Why y'all being extra?
Because me and Cincy always got to work the next day, and we're like, there's another episode of Dynamics.
Good for you. I wasn't made for this type of life, so that's fine.
Cincy, anything you want to promote? Anything you want to shout out?
Yes, I will be back this week, Friday night for Fufu motherfucking Fridays. Can't wait. Missed it last week. I was too damn tired. Matter of fact, I died pretty much the whole weekend. And Sunday night for Request Box Live. I'm ready to get into it. But man, boy needed rest. Still need rest. We're going up tomorrow. Oh, shout out to the Q Kids. We got Blink Festival Cincinnati. If y'all are on my Instagram, you will be seeing pictures of that. We got 40 kids. And we brought back 15 alumni who have already graduated out the program that are going to be marching in this Blink parade and then performing in their kickoff finale tomorrow night. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great weekend for Cincinnati and great opportunity for the kids.
That's dope. That's dope. And there's nothing worse than waking up thinking you missed your friend's stream. Like Friday, definitely Thursday. I mean, I woke up, I'm like, I miss Bex. And I'm like, sorry, Bex. And then Friday, I'm like, I miss Cincy. And then I realized no one streamed. I work next night, though. But we're out. We're a little out of practice right now. We'll get back in the swing of things, and we'll see you guys next week. Hold Up TV, Dope Dynamics. Remember, don't say racist shit, not assuming that someone's recording. And be cool.